Okay, guys, so handheld cameras. We need to talk about why we want to use them, how we should use them, proper etiquette, what not to do, what to do. We just want to get your thoughts on handheld camera operator in general. Like, what do they need to know at the fundamental level?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I love this topic because even for me personally, as a director, I've evolved in this area probably the most in the last few years. You know, where we used to have 3 tripods, now we have 1, and those other 2 cameras are now handhelds. And I think, you know, as I think about it, the why for me is, there's lots of reasons why. One is just very practically, if it's handheld, it's more mobile, right? I can get different angles. I can go wherever we need to go to get whatever shots we need to get for the message or for worship. And then I guess it just opens up a whole new world of what kind of movement you can do, right?
Yeah, no, totally. It really helps you now coming into that cinematic broadcast style. It really helps you tell the story better and showcasing certain moments. You know, if there's a guitar solo, you know, for me, what I hear, I want to see for the most part. So if there's a guitar solo, I want to see that. I want to showcase that. And also not just showcasing, you know, I think I said it also before, but showcasing the band, like they put hard work into what they do. You know, not just showing the guitar, but panning or tilting up to their face, showing their face, showing them worshiping, just as much as anything else. But having the ability now to push in tight, to get some movement, a little bit more movement, you know, wrapping around the guitar or drums, things like that.
You also get like physically close to people, right? Which I think a lot of people probably wouldn't realize this, but when the cameras are far away and you're zoomed in, that is a completely different like aesthetic and just emotional idea about it. Like, you feel like you're far away, even though the type may be shot. The way the lens like treats that video, it's just different. If I get the camera close to you, it literally exaggerates the foreground, makes that the focal, and everything in the background becomes more contextual.
Yeah, and that's actually good to get into too, is because as a stage op, like I have to be aware of my surrounding. I have to be aware of how close I am to the worship leader, or you know, and yes, it could be they could be comfortable with it, but another worship leader might not be, right? Or this guitar player might be comfortable with it, but the next guitar player is like, that's a little too close, man, you know. Or you're stepping over guitar cable, pulling power, or, you know, things like that. So now it comes to that etiquette of how close do you want to get that really cool shot? But then find that balance, like, okay, maybe this is too close because now I don't want to really encroach on them and interrupting them and how they play, how they worship.
Do you guys feel like handheld cameras are a progression of telling the story better, or is it just a different flavor? Like, was it when we started doing push and pulls and dissolves, was that just a different version of this? Or are we just progressing further into, we're finding different ways to tell the story better?
Yeah,
That's a great question.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, really.
Like the tools change, right? So like, it's just more accessible now to get those kinds of cameras. So that's part of it.
Smaller cameras, they're lighter.
Right.
They're not, I mean, we're not pulling out, you know, ENG lenses on, you know, heavy broadcast cams. And that's why, like, most of the broadcast cams that you see that are technically handheld, they're shoulder mounted because it's just so heavy.
I think in a lot of churches, the story has changed, right? Like, you know, like a lot of churches, I've gone from a big choir to now a worship band and a worship set. And there's just a different emotion and different energy in that scenario. And the handheld, you know, in my opinion, the handheld camera helps tell that story that's actually happening better. I'm not injecting into the story by using a handheld camera. It's the right tool for the moment.
And I think the music changes over time have informed this a little bit too. Like a big choral anthem hymn is just a different kind of emotion than a more intimate, personal worship song that might benefit from having this sort of more intimate visual.
Exactly.
So I think, again, we always go back to the story we're trying to tell and how the most effective way is to communicate that story.
Yeah.